I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and we're starting another viewer games analysis stream. As usual, we have 3 games to look through sent to me by you guys. This time we're not going to have a beginner game, only advanced players games, but you know, that's what you guys sent me. That said, if any one of you has a question during my analysis, feel free to ask that in the chat, even if you feel that the question is about something obvious, and I will try to address that. But if I don't answer, I'm pretty sure somebody else will answer you in the chat, as we have plenty of experienced players. So we have 3 games to go through, and I've arranged them in according to the rating of our opponent. So in the first game, our protagonist is going to be playing a player around 500 strength, a former national champion. Then the next game, our protagonist is going to be playing against a current national champion. And in the last game, our protagonist is going to be playing against a world champion. And also, I think all 6 participants, so not only our protagonists but also our antagonists, happen to be subscribers of the channel as well. So I'm gonna try to present not only our protagonist side but a little bit the opportunities for our opponent's side. So now Ivan Bell, who is going to be our protagonist for the first game, will be playing against Gina, whom you've recently seen as this stream as the former Belgian champion, current Belgian vice champion. Well, I've spoiled the results of the stream of the Belgian Carcassonne online championships for those of you who have not watched it, but I hope you have. And interesting, so this question was sent to me that when our protagonist Bellywan sent the message to me, he mentioned that, you know, I felt that I've won this game by luck, and I want to know what mistakes I made. And that's a good attitude to have. But well, let's actually assess how big a component luck was. So of course here we're going to be in Ivan's shoes, and we're going to start with the players, with the starting player's advantage. Our opponent is of course continuing here, and this is an interesting tile to play already. Like, I actually don't know what the correct move here is. So this move I'm not a huge fan of, because it's already it helps your opponent too much, and then your opponent can immediately reattack the city from here, and then all you've done, especially if it's a triangle, then all you've done is basically you've just helped your opponent build a road. So a couple of moves that I might consider here in the opening are maybe this one, and just start a new city. This is actually probably my favorite. Or maybe this one, sort of pre-finishing a city over here. But this is also not ideal, because if this square gets blocked, then you know, green can continue his road indefinitely, but red cannot continue his city. For if you want to, like, if this square gets blocked, then you want to have a triangle over here, so that you can build and build and build your city and make more points for this red trapped meeple than this green trapped meeple. But let's see what you do. So you go for that move, which is fine. Yeah, I definitely, at least I like the idea that you're not immediately helping your opponent. Oh, and this road is actually pretty smart as well. Yeah, I didn't think about this. So the idea is that if red, or if you get a starting tile at some point, and let's say you put it like this over here, then you get to share a road with green, so you do not immediately finish it. That said, probably, like, all things considered, I don't think there's an ideal move in the situation. You just drew a tile where you're forced to make some concessions. Probably my favorite moment is would be starting a new city, but this is definitely the next best option. And like, ideally, with this situation where your opponent is sticking in a road in a city of specifically the shape, the ideal tiles that you should be waiting for is triangle 1, triangle 2, and if you're lucky, triangle with the road. If not, then block for a slightly winning mini battle. But at least what I like here is that you're following the principle in mini battles. You want to, anyway, if you're trying to complete the city, ideally you want to finish the square. You want to insert a tile in the shared square at the very last instance. Alrighty. If they start a city, what do we do? Actually, we might just as well follow through. Why not? I rather like it. Oh yeah, that's what you do. There's still 5 tiles that fit here. That's fine. All of them are suitable for you. There's of course a slight inconvenience that when you put a tile here, your opponent will immediately be available to will be able to block. But you know, we can live with this. I certainly like the aggression here. And also here, green, I think maybe was a bit impatient. Because the thing's like, so as green, what are you waiting for? Like, as green, you really want to be drawing a tile that's a triangle with the road and pretty much nothing else. Because then you get to block this square, and then you get to potentially block this square as well. You get everything here trapped, 3 versus 1 meeples. But like, how likely is it to happen? Like, as green, you also have to think. Because what you're going to do, you're going to take any straight road. I don't know, a curve you're going to put like this. Or a straight line you're going to put like this. And then you're going to be chilling. So essentially, and also like green is slightly restricting this square as well for himself. And so this really solves your problem in a second, because so this is something that Vladimir Kovalev said, former world champion. If you need to block in 2 places, sometimes it's better to block in 0 places. Because it's already hard enough for red to untangle. But now, in addition, as green, in addition to giving red an opportunity for an active defense, let's say if I don't, you know, if as red we don't draw the tile, fine, we can draw a regular city cap or a triangle and have a passive defense. So actually we're now fully, so you as green, you're freeing red to start filling in this square because it brings extra protection value, as opposed to before when red cannot build the square as it opens up an potential attack on this square. So that's why probably as green I would be quite patient. I would try and take advantage of the fact that this meeple is stuck here for a long time, and maybe start building something like, I don't know, maybe I can take 2 points over here. I can start a new city over here when I get a city cap, and then I can attack this square somehow. So accept that this city is going to be finished, but then do something bad against this meeple as collateral. And also as green, if you are gonna block here, then at least I would wait for a triple city tile, something like this, so to sort of to start destroying the city and to actually threaten get a triangle tile and again block all these 3 squares. Because now it looks like you're starting a block here, but this is very, very wishful thinking. So for green, a better move is just simply to start to ring road over here to do something simpler. But that said, we're not playing green here, we're playing red, and you get a monastery, and of course you're going to take advantage of it. And of course, always with the meeple here, and that's it. We already have an opening advantage. Like, we have a city that is going to be completed with an 88% chance. When we have a wonderful monastery for already 4 points, which is going to be built up very, very easily. So, like, we are sharing this square with our city, so when we get a triangle, we're going to get an extra monastery point. We are controlling a road, and then whenever either we or our opponent is going to get a road tile, start a 3-point road, this will give us another monastery point. and an attacking square against this city potentially. And when we get a straight road, we're going to have a second monastery spot. And yeah, I really think red is doing really, really well here. Yeah, so we probably should take a road. Yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, it's definitely an okay move, especially like to play at a 500 level. Just because there's so many tiles remaining, I don't like losing a point here. I would just simply take this road, point it downwards, prepare a second monastery spot, and you know, be happy with my 4-point move. Because also what's going to happen now is like your opponent's going to get a city tile, and then you're just going to waste a move. I would do this in the following situation. Now, if your opponent already has another city open, let's say, I don't know, somewhere here, and it's already restricted to a road, then I would play this move so that your opponent has 2 cities open that are restricted to the same type of tile. And that way you're taking many tiles away from them. You're taking a regular city cap, you're taking these types of city cap. Actually, this reminds me that we should turn on the Carcassonne reviewer. And also that I should start talking a little bit softer to spare my voice, as by the looks of it, it could be quite a long stream. Yeah, but it's fine. If they get a road, they do what we should do. Of course, we're going to place this tile over here, and always meeple. This is a natural move. Great stuff for us. They do this. Probably they should meeple the city here. Yeah, they now threaten stuff. Now, there's not much that we could do. I guess we should take 3 points over here. But you see the problem, one of the reasons why I really, really wanted to take this curve over here is to prepare a more organic completion of the monastery. So now you're sort of forced to take 3 points over here, but then it makes your monastery build-up less organic, because you're now going to be needing a city plus field tile in multiple places. And then of course the second best move, you could also take 2 points over here, but I mean, why would you ever take why would you make a 2-point move instead of making a 4-point move? So that's the problem here, I think. But yeah, of course you do now what you have to do. And your opponent, I think, starts blocking a bit too much. They sacrifice 2 points. They can always wait for another road tile to do this. And also, like, at the start of the game, it's not that much of a block. 3 tiles that fit into this hole, I think it's something that you can easily live with. And if anything, if I were you, the move that I would play here, I would really punish green for overzealous blocking. No, I would not do this. I would have showed it here, because you're threatening to get blocked. Instead, yeah, I should have pointed this out first. Okay, I would have placed this tile like this. I would have taken 2 points and put the city cap towards here. I hope you can imagine this, yeah? And so that you're preparing to finish this city with a triangle and this city with a simple city cap that was just much, much stronger. So don't be too much afraid about having these 2 meeples tangled up, because ideally you want to be freeing up this meeple first. You can do this with any city plus field tile. But yeah, so I think here you sort of missed out on a valuable move. Elias is saying, I would argue that the 4-point move is a 3-point move, because if the opponent takes the road, you get the extra road anyway. I see what you're saying, but it's still a 4-point move, because it gives you 4 points immediately. Like, very often it is the single... well, it's definitely like your immediate points value, if you're in doubt, can be the points value, the immediate points value of a move, if you're in doubt, can be like a really good predictor for which move is best. But okay, now of course red takes 2 points with tempo, we will be very happily looking to pre-build a 4-point road and save our monastery. And here also we get another problem because your square is vulnerable here. Probably the best what you can do is to do something like this, to go into a losing mini battle. Actually also not turn it like this in order to not give your opponent a chance to draw one of the triple cities. Like you should not give your opponent a city plus road tile when your opponent's ruin is blocked. But turn it like this probably. And yes, you give your opponents a chance to build up this ruin a lot, whilst this guy is going to be trapped for 3 points, but that's like your best option at the moment. Because if you don't do this, then red is going to take a city cap and simply finish his city up top, and then you're going to lose the bottom meeple anyway. Yeah, so you defend the other monastery instead, which of course saves it somewhat, but then it doesn't solve the problem of this meeple exactly. Like you're very, very likely to lose this. So at this point, it's just better to cut the losses and make sure that green is also blocked here. Green does not get a blocking tile. Green at least gets to have some points. Here, there's not that much what we can do. We can probably start building a road here, which only slightly restricts our options, our opponent's options to block, or we could simply block the bottom meeple. I think both these moves are fine, and you choose to build a road, and you don't meeple it, which I guess is okay, because your opponent does not have an incentive to continue building a road. But like ideally when you start doing something like this, that you want to build another road and then put another road over here to block this square so that this square is saved. So that's kind of one of the standard types of defense, that you try to block the blocking square. But this does not happen. And the thing that I told would happen did happen. And you know, you lose a meeple, but it's fine. It's part of a game. I think again avoidable because of this move over here. But it's a pattern that's not very obvious to see. So actually, very often this is the case. Like where you have a CCCR tile like this, and then you have a piece of road over here sticking over here, or any tile actually. Instead of finishing your city, a better pattern is sometimes to take a 2-point road or a 3-point road and put a city cap to pre-create a city for 6 points, hoping for a triangle like this. I hope you all appreciate my painting skills, but it's a pattern that all of you should know. But we're gonna move on. You attack over here, and actually I'm already not a fan of this move, because this city is not just valuable yet to attack, and you are entering a losing mini battle. So why is this city not as valuable yet to attack? It's because there's still 2 tiles that green needs to complete it. So it can sometimes be better. To try blocking this city, and if black spends one more move on maybe adding another city cap, then you attack this city. Because now black doesn't care about the city. Black can take, I don't know, a triple city tile, a quadruple city tile, and try to block this square. And also the problem, like you're spending a city cap, you're pretty much committing yourself to spending one more tile on joining the city. Otherwise, you're in a losing mini battle. So in fact, in this position, a better move is to take the same city cap, but start building another city outwards. I've noticed that this is also another pattern that you can recognize. I've noticed that, so there's a relatively new player who came 3rd in last arena season. His screen name is Stray. I don't know who they are, but I've analyzed the games, and I've noticed that in the opening, when your opponent has this type of city, like a city cap plus a triple city, when they get a city cap themselves, they always, they never attack this kind of city. They just start another city, restricting the square, and then they finish it. And then they do the same thing on the other side. And then they create this pattern that both of the squares next to your opponent's city are restricted. And then after that, it's very easy to block or re-attack. Well, let's try to imagine this over here. So again, city cap, then city cap, and you could sort of try to build around putting pressure on both of these squares. So this is another pattern that's I hope you can recognize. Yeah, just like in chess, like a lot of Carcassonne is pattern recognition. Green starts a road, very good for them. We connect, which is what we have to do, and it's, in fact, it's a very good tile that we got this because we don't have another good use for this tile. Green should probably fight for the city now, as they do. We can live with that. What can we do? Probably we can... Well, there are many ways how we can employ a curve productively. Maybe like this, sort of we bother the road a little bit, like this, creating another platform, like this, creating another platform. Probably my favorite move is this or this, with a slight preference for this, simply trying to block the city. Let's see what you do. You do one of the moves, yeah, that's completely fine. It creates a platform, and the idea is that if green connects now, you will be able to start blocking or reconnecting from this square. Of course they connect. And now you can start blocking, which is what you... but then you don't do that. So then this begs the question, what was the point of the previous move? I see that you're trying to create yourself a connection platform, but there are already two connection platforms, and you are not getting the tile to connect anyway. So assuming that your opponent has a city cap in hand to close off their city, it's good to have started this block. Like, sometimes you may have made a move with the intention to connect, or you may have moved with the intention to block, but very often, whether to block your opponent's city or to connect to your opponent's city, that's not entirely up to you. That's up to the tiles you get. And that's why, mind the language that I use, as absent-minded as I sometimes I am, I very often use the term attacking platform rather than connection platform or blocking platform, or attacking. And attacking could mean either trying to connect or trying to block. It can be any aggressive action against your opponent's city. Now you got a straight line, so you pretty much got to follow through with it to justify your previous move. But okay, you take this square. Your opponent should continue their road. Now it's a different question. Now you can probably, I guess, take a road over here, and then you have two squares that are restricted, and then you can like either block or connect. So the idea of this move, now that this straight line's over here, is that, you know, you get some extra value, the 3-point road, from your initial creation of the attacking platform. But let's see what you do. You do this, which is very nice. They finish a road. You're in a difficult spot here. It's not, actually, there's not many good things that you can do, because you have on your last meeple. I don't think you can afford to block here. I think the move for you is something like this. Yeah, I said I don't think you can afford to connect here because you're subscribing to losing mini battle. I think you could go here, and then you have an advantage that you basically are benefiting from whoever completes these two cities, because it immediately connects a full blocking opportunity for either of these squares. And this is what you do. Oh no, you don't do that. Okay. Well, your move is fine, but you know, I think my suggestion was better. Yeah, well, precisely because obviously you're starting a block, which is nice, but then now you have a restricted city, and you're now going to start losing value from tiles. Now, okay, this I think is a very, very big mistake. That's the biggest mistake so far. You know why? Because you took a tile and you didn't do anything with that, and that's a big problem. There was quite an obvious move here. Again, like start blocking here or start blocking here. Like you got to do something. You can't just dump a tile away, and especially there's still 3 tiles with which your opponents can pick it up. So I think all the previous mistakes, I think they're sort of okay at a 500 level, and they were only mistakes because you had better moves that you could have played. But this one's yeah, you would need to really think about the concept of like, don't dump tiles. Try to do something useful with the tiles, even if you don't have meeples. Your opponent's starting to block you, and now you decide to connect to the city, which actually I think is quite all right. I maybe would have waited and tried to complete my thing. Then they join, then you join. And now you do have a long wait for getting tiles back. Because you have... Well, you have 7 tiles with which you can get meeples back. And you have... Unfortunately, you have... 8 tiles from which you lose value. So, which means it's quite likely that you're gonna lose like 4 or 6 points in value by simply drawing the city caps, which you can't use productively. So there's 8 of those. Oh, there's also these guys. Yeah, so it's 11 tiles before your opponent, before you draw something to get a meeple back. But it's okay, you do what you have to do. Yeah, they do this. Now, of course, you block. Again, something that we could have started a while ago. Now you get a tile which is not actionable, but I guess you can block over here a little bit. Again, throwing a tile away. You should do at least something that gives you like 1 percentage point. So, place it over here, try to create try to start restricting this road. It's not nothing. They attack the city, which is nice for them. Given the tiles remaining, I think this move is really strong, because that gives your opponent only 1 tile that they can fit. Is that what you do? No, yeah, I think you had to do that. I know that the downside of this move is that you are making it easier for your opponent to complete a city, but your opponent has 4 connection tiles, and you're taking 3 of them away. I think that was a really, really big opportunity here to try and save these important points and to trap this lonely 1-point green meeple, because that would give you 50% immediate odds. And then, of course, a lot of options to block later. So, in fact, let's say it's about 50%. Then I think it's about 40% for a block. So that would make it 50 plus 50 times 60, which is 30. Yeah, so there's actually about 80% chance of blocking your opponent's meeple. 50 of them through them never connecting, and then another like 30 or so through you building around this square and trying to go like this. But there's also another reason why I liked using this tile here, because if you place it here and you have an outward city cap, when you get a meeple back, this makes all your future blocking attempts with tempo. Because what you're gonna do, you're gonna wait patiently until one of another many city caps that are remaining, and then you're gonna like go here, and then you're going to take 4 points for the city cap, and then you're going to create a platform to block the square by simply taking 4 points from collecting a city cap. So that goes at no extra cost to you. I'm talking a bit loudly again. I have to spare my voice. I'm going to try to do my best. In the meantime, I see that more of you are coming in. Yeah, hi Glovier, hi Elias, hi Ivan, and do, you know, meeple the like button to help the algorithm. Green should meeple the monastery here, always. It's too good. It's just too good, I think. And green has many ways to get his meeple back. Well, I mean, I see why they wouldn't do this, but it's a good monastery to meeple. You have one meeple that you can get back pretty soon. There's a sufficient number of straight lines. It's fine. I would do it. Okay, you get a meeple back, which is fantastic, and you only lost a little bit of value. Yeah, now they connect. Again, something that we could have prevented. Now, of course, you're going to take 4 points. Oh, yeah, no, yours is better. Yeah, you get a meeple back, of course. Probably drop a farmer here, actually. I'm going to say definitely drop a farmer. Even though it's your penultimate meeple, the farm's really good. It's really, really good. You're going to have a lot of quick points. You know, there's still a reasonable chance this guy's going to get completed. This is going to get completed for sure. This could be another city. This could be another city, and then you can get compensation from your opponent completing a city. So let's see if you drop a farmer. You don't. I would, but it's fine. Your opponent takes 4 points. And you see, because the problem here, which they're going to do, they are now preparing to drop a farmer with tempo. As soon as they get a curve, then they're going to drop a farmer for sure. Now what do we do? Yeah, so the same thing, but you could have done that without wasting a move. You could have done that on the previous move, and you could have spent this curve on adding a point to your road and threatening this square. So basically we just lost a point for no reason. Yeah, also, like, if you're going to farm, farm. If you're not going to farm, don't farm. So that's the concept of tempo here. But yeah, but that's just a small thing, you know, it's cost you 1 point, probably not going to be decisive for the game. And 1 tempo. Also, there were several situations where you ended up doing the thing that I was mentioning, but 1 move later. So for example, this tile over here, you sort of dropped it, and then I recommended putting it here. And you did that, but a couple of moves later, you know, when you drew this tile. So just maybe my main advice would be when you don't have meeples, try to find some value from your moves. Okay, we get 4 points, which is fantastic. Also restrict your opponent's road somewhat. Have a 12-point farm. They are making a good move here. We probably should, I don't know. Oh, actually, that's a good question. Maybe we should just go over here and oh no, we shouldn't, because there's still one of those. No, we should, yeah, to just prevent your opponent from finishing this city. An alternative, taking 4 points is also fine. Taking 4 points is completely fine. Maybe we can block this later, although there are some scenarios how green gets back-to-back triangles and just finishes the city and runs away with the game. But there are only 2 triangles remaining, so the odds are not that great for green. They're taking 2 points, while actually for them I prefer adding to the city. But it's fine. You continue blocking, which is good. They have now a dilemma whether to take 2 points or to save their meeple. Probably they should be saving their meeple because it's like a 75% chance. And they do save their meeple. Now you probably should continue your road and create a blocking square, yes. They start a new city, and now, yeah, so Now this is where we do get lucky, because we get the one remaining tile that they needed for this city, right? So actually we don't even need to spend a move. And maybe, yeah, that's a little bit lucky over here. But probably what we should do now we can just put away the game and go here, block your opponent's city. Or actually, maybe even judging what the remaining tiles are, we can go here and have the same effect without adding a point to your opponent. But we should still take care of the city here, I think, because we are at +7. We are controlling a 12-point field. That's +19. What your opponent has, okay, this is equal, so it's like +17. Your opponent has really good cities though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18. Huh. So we are at -1. So we're at -1. But we do have a meeple for that. Your opponent is likely to get 5 points and get a meeple back. So probably here, as red, you're still behind. How do we win this game? I think we win this game maybe by building more in your field and either hoping that green does not get this tile or somehow gathering compensation. But yeah, here green is still in the better position. Yeah, okay, you go with the plan. That's great. Also, it's even like semi-good for us that green got this tile first, because green could have done the following. Green could have like finished his city, then dropped a farmer, and then connected through this. All right. Just keep getting points. You're probably going to block his city. Yep. All good so far. He does finish the city, but you're going to get 7 points. And this is great that you're controlling a field with one meeple that has very few entry points, and you can really just try and win. That way, they should. What should they do? Either drop a farmer straight away, which is not great. Maybe they should gamble here, like take 4 points or take 4 points. Let's see what they do. So they take 4 points here, which actually is, I think, pretty good. They are dropping another city cap in your field, but with the same city cap, they are creating a connection opportunity for yourself, and then you're going to take 4 points here. Oh! Huh. I wonder... So you took 5 points instead of 4, but simply want to deny your opponent the opportunity to take 9 points on their move. But I'm just thinking if that's necessary. Actually, maybe that's all right, because now what you're gonna hope to happen is, let's say, if your opponent tries to connect to the field, then you just block them. But I think in order to properly evaluate this move, I'm gonna need to count up the points again. If I remember correctly, they had 17 points for the city. 1, 2, 3, no, 18. 9, 10, 14, 18. Yeah, so they're 18 points for the city. You have 3. So they have plus 15 on the cities. You have a 5-point road. They have plus 10. And you're minus 4, so they're minus 14. So before this move, you were at plus 1. And now you are at plus 6. Now that's the question. Can your opponent make 6 points? Actually, I rather like your move, Because you're saying that your opponent will not be able to make 6 points. Well, actually, they will. Here's the thing. Because you're sort of hoping... yeah, you're really hoping for this tile. Because if they get this tile, your opponent gets 6 points here. You get 1 point here, and then you get 3 points here, and then they win. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it does seem that it almost doesn't matter which move to make. Because let's say if you were to get 4 points, you would be at +5. Let's say your opponent goes here. They're +9, so... And if they're lucky enough to draw this... let's say it's 9 points for them, so it's -4 for you. Yeah, then I guess you lose. No, so probably what you did is actually it's really good. Yeah, I think it's really good. Yeah, there's a 6-point field, but there's an interesting thing about this, Elias, that there's only one tile with which you can play this, with which you can claim this 6-point field, unless I'm not seeing another 6-point field. I'm not hallucinating. Yeah, so it's actually quite difficult to claim this. That's an interesting geometry predicament here. And now that you're +6. Green is in a difficult position because green has to hope for this tile that you have, which would give him a 33% chance, which is not ideal. Or they have to hope for something else. Yeah, maybe the move for them is... It sounds like it's just a 33% situation regardless. Yeah, probably they should start attacking this field and try to claim a 33% win. But there isn't really much what we can do here. Okay, no comment about that one. They should be taking 3 points instead of 2 points, obviously. If they're going to do that. Yeah, and then you are now at +9? No, +7. And then they take 3 points. Yeah, so it just appears that they simply have given up. And then you take 7 points. So did you win at +11 of something? Oh no, you don't take 7 points, you take 3 points. So you're only winning with +8 after this situation. Yeah, well, green got 1 point fewer than they could have. But probably doesn't change much. Yeah, +8. Okay, so actually great job. I did not think you got outrageously lucky in this game, no. Because like green also made some mistakes as well, and we managed to take advantage of them. So for example, in the end, they weren't even trying to win. They could have hoped for a 33% that way, another way, you know, they didn't make any attempts to win when they should have. The moments where you did get lucky was probably drawing all of these. Yes, you were trying to block this anyway, but so the way where you got lucky is just simply you didn't have to spend the tempo on blocking when you got another tile over here. I think you got a bit lucky that you got away without restricting this city, because your opponent did have some percentages, you know, for getting these back-to-back triangles. That was 50, 10, 50. That's sort of like a 25% chance, and that didn't happen. So maybe you could have like spent a couple more tiles on just killing your opponent's opportunities to come back into this game. Then this was a great farmer. Would have been a greater farmer move earlier, and there were some opening ideas where you could have been a bit more precise, more aggressive, but that's, you know, completely fine what you did. Then there were sometimes some prioritization issues. So let's say if you start attacking from one side, then you decide attacking from another side, and then you kind of go, you sort of went about attacking the city in a bit of an inefficient manner, and also actually connecting to this city in the first place was a bit of a misstep. That said, the way you control this field was very nice. And also that you recognize that dropping this city cap into the field would do you a lot, because you ended up gaining 7 points from them. And if anything, like, all the difference was this city cap over here that you dropped into this field. So that was quite nice for you. Yeah, so seriously, well played. But my main critique for you will be about playing meeple-less moves. So this move over here, and this move over here, and a couple of other moves. Yeah, you got to make moves that do something, especially when there were opportunities to restrict this road, to restrict this ruin. So make sure to, you know, get at least some value of the tile that you're getting. Alrighty, hopefully it was somewhat instructive. Let's see what you guys are rating. Oh yes, so Elias is mentioning that green needed this tile for both purposes, both for getting this city potentially, and both for taking the 6-point field. And because this city is worth more, it actually did make sense to take 5 points and to sort of try defensive scoring in such a way. Yeah, that was actually like a really nice touch towards the end. It's still, technically, it put the game to a 50-50. Because this tile ended up being crucial. If they do get 6 points here instead of 2, and then you get 0 points or 1 point instead of 4, yeah, if you get 0 points instead of 4, you know, they would have won. Alrighty. Oh, cheers. Yeah, nice that you're still here in the chat with us, Ivan. And what I'm going to do is move on to the next game. Nope, not this one. This one. The next one sent to us by Nice Dicer, and we will be playing against Nico Vellemans, the most recent Belgian Carcassonne champion. I think, was that some Belgian Super League? That's not the same. I don't know, there's so many tournaments in Belgium, I lose track. I'm gonna assume that it was maybe some preliminary round in the Belgian championships, but if Nice Dicer happens to be in the chat, do let me know if that was in fact a Belgium championship game or not. And also interestingly, so when Nice Dicer sent the game to me, he said, like, I wonder, so I won this game, but I wonder what percentage of that was luck and what was skill. That's a very, very good question to ask. I'm going to try answering it. We're playing in the second position. Blue has meepled the city. We should, yeah, okay, so you can play like this. Okay, here you can play like this. I probably still prefer to equalize in the opening, because what can happen here, your opponent gets a triangle with the road, meeples the road, and then you just lose. Like, you can't connect to the city because both of these squares are restricted. Your opponent takes a curve, has a 5-point road, and then you just lose. On the other hand, it's still sort of okay because the city is not going to be completed that soon unless your opponent gets a triangle with the road. So I might do this and I'm not a fan of this. Yeah, you're just giving your opponent a road basically. And then what sometimes players do, they make this move, and then you draw a city plus road tile on your next move, and you meeple the road, and then they complain how lucky you are, obviously not knowing that there are still 23 tiles remaining that suit for Okay, not 23, but 20 tiles remaining that suit for this. 21. No. Yeah, 21 tiles remaining that suit for this purpose, so... No. 20. I lost count, doesn't matter. Anyway, but it's okay. Sometimes you can play. So you can play sometimes this move if your opponent has this triple city, but you can never play this move against a triangle because it's just bad. It doesn't work mathematically. And this is yeah, because your opponent does finish the city most of the time, and then you end up not taking advantage of this tile. So here it's sort of okay still. Yeah, so first of all, that's the first problem. Like they get the road. You should meeple the road here. Will you do that? You did not. But this is one of the cases where actually meepling this 1-point road is necessary. Because what your opponent gonna do, they're gonna take a curve and they're gonna defend the square, pre-building this nice 6-point road for them. Actually, let me make this thing a little bit brighter. Yeah, sort of like pre-building a road for them. And by meepling this 1-point road, you ensure against the situation because your opponent will be forced to take a curve, but at least you get to share this 7-point road. And it's a lot of points for a road, but they do not get a curve. So we start a road, which is great. And you, what do you do here? Probably just start a city. Yep. All good. They get the second best tile for them. Probably here you should be starting a road, either here or here. Obviously start the one where it has more points. Okay, it's also fine, completely fine. You're trying to connect to the road before they finish their city. And things are looking good for blue. How do you win this game? Here, you can either go like this. I would probably be greedy enough to meeple another road, but it's completely fine to go like this. Starts restricting. They should be greedy. They should be meepling this other road. Yep, exactly. And now this is another pattern that I've talked about this pattern before. I anticipate what you're probably going to do is go here and meeple the road. But this move is just stronger. If you go here, you meeple this 2-point road. You have 12 actionable tiles that go here. And with a city cap, you can start another city. And also you're creating a 4-point ring road that you can take later on. And you can also steal your opponent's ring road. So that would be a very powerful move. But let's see if you do it. You don't, it's fine. But it's a pattern that like not many players know for some reason. Man, it's I'm giving away stuff here. Green finishes their city. We should start another one. There's not much that we can do. Probably here is the best start because it also puts pressure on Green's road, and this is what you do. Excellent. Green's road. Why do I do it? You've been viewers of this channel long enough. I'm sure you can translate. When I say green, I mean blue. Early farmer, that's actually pretty good. Here, I think we've got to finish our top roads. Do we meeple? No, we don't meeple the city. Well, yeah, we don't meeple the city. We sort of just put pressure. Okay, meepling the city is also fine. I'm never gonna, I'm never gonna blame you for meepling things. Because the idea is like, it's a certain insurance. If your opponent gets a triple city with a city cap with a crossroads tile, then they could take this, save their road, and meeple the city. The reason why meepling this city in this situation is not as important, it's okay, it's still absolutely okay to do so, is because both, not both, but 2 out of 3 city caps with a road are already out, so your opponent has fewer lucrative tiles. But by the way, we should open this. They should continue the road. And now here, I think what we should do is well, let's make them do this first. Is to go here, block ourselves, block blue, and then just simply build up a ruin to equalize this thing, because it also restricts the field a lot. Yeah, there are other ideas. For example, to go here, it's pretty nice. Then you get to clean off a city cap whilst also expanding your city. But your opponent is threatening to grab one of the 2 road monasteries. And if they get a road monastery, go here, meeple the monastery, expand their field by 2 cities, control your 2-point city with a 7-point monastery, they win the game. So I think it's urgent to do something about this. There is an alternative. You can also do this, and you can also meeple the road, but the problem is you end up with a city that's like not that valuable. I prefer just blocking everything there. Another reason for this is because your opponent dropped a farmer, and if you manage to block another pair of meeples, like blocking a pair of meeples, it's very similar to doing an exchange of pieces in chess. And you know, exchanges of pieces in chess benefit the side that already has more pieces. So, and blocking a pair of meeples in Carcassonne benefits the side that already has more meeples, which temporarily looks like it's blue, but long term it's you, because blue has already committed a farmer. But it's fine. Your move is completely fine. I'm just talking about like long-term strategical benefits. So far you haven't really made any mistakes. This is an excellent move by blue. It's going to backfire, as we're going to find out later. But I also want you guys to see this pattern like of indirectly cleaning off city caps, and also putting your meeples in places where they are unblockable, and there are 5 tiles remaining to fill in this square, translating to a 97% chance of getting your meeple back, and turning a triangle in a high impact tile, which is very nice. Because very often it's kind of difficult to start a new city with a triangle, but here it's just beautiful what they do. Probably what you should do, maybe develop this city, maybe go here, either that way or that way, sort of trying to clean another city cap. Here, start another city, also an option. This is also an option, but it's kind of weak, because this city should not get finished if you're playing against a decent strength opponent. You do this, which is completely fine. Trying to... yeah, this is probably the best move, just waiting for 2 more Doritos. Again, just to our newer viewers, this is the best way to finish, the most efficient way to finish cities like this, so that you end up with 4 triangles, and then you build, so that you build a triangle-shaped city in one place, and you build a city with city caps in another place. Now blue should continue the road. Slight misstep from blue. It's better to do it from the other side, from below, in order to put pressure on this red meeple. We meeple a monastery in the best spot possible. Me likey. They take a city cap, which is good for them. This is a question of how impatient should we get. We could take 2 points here. We could take 3 points here. I probably prefer taking the 3 points because we can do this later. On the other hand, if we do this, it puts pressure on a blue's meeple. So yeah, it's completely fine what you did as well. And it also forces them to spend the city cap suboptimally, which is nice. Also, all 3 of the city caps with the crossroads are going well. Now, I don't remember what you did here, But there are two moves to consider. First of all, it's the best move to simply build up your city. But by the way, not from this side, but from this side, to make sure that both potential attacking squares are equally restricted. Because if you build it from this side, then your opponent has more tiles because there's a piece of road dangling, so you can use like a Dorito with a straight with this, or you can use a regular straight line to attack from here. I think another move that you should be considering is this and dropping a farmer, because it's a super efficient field connection, but I don't think it's the best, simply because it's a shielded tile, and you can do this with another tile. You can actually wait for this. What am I doing? Just clicking wrong things. Yeah, you can wait for a triple city and then do this with a triple city. And that way you sort of have a more efficient way of using your tiles. Now, if you do this other move, I'm not going to blame you at all. It's still a very powerful move. Okay, you do the best one. Oh, you do the second best one. No. Again, building from here is slightly better. Your opponent gets to attack, but you know, we get to finish the city immediately. Could have dropped, actually I would have dropped a farmer there. Yeah, why not? This field is going to be important. If your opponent blocks from here, then at least you're going to get this little farm for 6 points, or you're going to block this guy and have a 3 versus 1 mini battle. Yeah, this field is going to be important. Like, it's a good idea to already drop a farmer, because what's going to happen instead is then blue is going to continue here, and blue is going to drop a farmer for 6 points. In some scenarios, that helps blue win this big farm, and some scenarios it helps blue simply preserve a small 6-point farm. Yeah, so I think you can go ahead and drop a farmer there, especially if you have so many meeples. They very wisely drop a second farmer, creates a monastery spot. They understand that this field is going to be important. You, of course, are just going to keep taking 4 points, cleaning off city caps. It's good for you. They don't have a good move. They should probably not drop a third farmer. They should wait until you drop a second farmer, and then until you drop a first farmer, and then drop a third farmer. They should probably go here, like start attacking your monastery. Let's see what they do. They do this, so they help you. That's actually fantastic. So that's a big mistake from blue here. On one hand, they are sort of starting a blocking attack. On the other hand, there is no way in the world that's going to be time for that, because there's just so many things that they need to do. You know, so they want to block with road tiles. But first of all, this monastery is hard enough to finish by itself without anybody trying to block, simply because there are so many things that need to do. Second, there are many things that need to be done with the road. Like there's a ring road here, potentially there's 3-point road here. There's a ring road here, which is super important. So whoever gets a curve needs to try and fight for this 5-point road. And also, they are setting you up to getting one of these tiles, and you have a nice city cap over here, and you make a 2-point move. Yeah, so I don't know. So basically, blue is helping you here, which is fantastic for you. And you decide to go all in. I think it's premature. I think it's really premature. Yeah, sort of flipping for the curve. I don't know. Like there will be opportunities to attack the field later. Just clean off this 5-point road first. And now we're like really flipping for the monastery, because whoever gets the monastery gets the 9 points. This gets filled. You want to be flipping for the monastery when you're behind, but you're not really behind. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you can play like this, but it's like it just makes for a very high variance setup. Because what they're going to do now, they're going to finish their city, and they're going to drop a farmer, exactly what I told you. And now the problem is that this field is relatively closed. So they should be, like, blue should be winning this field most of the time. There's one field connection that I can see. Of course, you can go, like, here, either with this tile or with a different tile and drop a farmer. But of course, we need to take care of this square first, because blue was so nice to give us the opportunity of this high scoring move. Why don't we use it? Okay, you go fight for the farm because you also create another field connection. But this field connection is easily blockable because what blue should be doing, blue should be now going here. And that's it. Blue is going to have a 3 versus 2 majority, and there's no more field connection. And you need to like start spending a lot of moves on trying to somehow create another field connection. Oh, so blue makes a mistake. I think the utmost priority is to block this field connection, because you're now gonna, yeah, okay, cleaning off the 4 points is good. Like, blue will be able to connect later. Again, this is something that blue can do later. Like, they just get, I don't know, they just get too impatient. So of course you're gonna take advantage of that. You're gonna go here and drop a farmer, right? Yes, yes you are. Oh. Where's the farmer? So, like, are you going to find, or are you going, or are you not going to fight for the fields or not? Like, what's going to be a better field connection than that spot? So, make up your mind. Bulat Hassanov is asking, do I analyze special games, or may you analyze my game against Mikhail's? Yeah, sure. So, feel free to send me suggestions for game analysis for the March stream. I will analyze any suggestions, pretty much. They don't have to be like high-end tournament games. It's just most viewers prefer to have their tournament games analyzed. But, you know, it can be whatever. Alrighty. 3 points somewhere. Oh, or greed. I also like this idea. The idea is to trying to build a big 9-point road. I would have gone with the 3 points probably, because just blue didn't have this many farmers. And we now. So will you find or will you not find this move? Because you have a strong move here. If you go here, you can really threaten completing this city. So this is a very common pattern of saving your cities, preparing for completion, is leaving a triple city tile over here, because it's very hard to block actually, and you will always be able to save it. Also, triple city tiles are typically not very useful for either blocking or city building. So then you get to take advantage of a tile that you would normally not need. And of course you need a city cap here and a triple city cap and a triple city here. But let's see what you do. You do this. Well done. Nice find for spotting this pattern. It's not an obvious pattern at all. Great job. What do they do? Yeah, they try to block. And they also block a field connection at the same time, which we could have used. You connect to the roads, which I guess is nice. They can't do much about it. They have to dump the tile, which again I don't like. Probably should do something about it, like at least start harassing a monastery. Or maybe they should have gone here and like blocked the field connection from up top, because you still have the idea of maybe getting triangle with the road, chopping a farmer here, getting a third farmer in like this somehow. You share a road, which is nice for you. They can't do much. They could probably either eliminate a field connection or start blocking your city. This is completely fine. You get... Okay. Nice dicer. So you win a coin flip for the ultimate dream tile. and you're not gonna use it as the ultimate dream tile. I have issues with this. So, what's wrong with getting 8 points and a meeple back? Like, you can afford this thing getting blocked. Because the thing is, like, your opponent is threatening to block this city anyway, so the city is now less valuable. Let's say you go here, I don't know, maybe you could meeple the monastery, probably you shouldn't, because you need meeples to fight for the field. And now your opponent's going to block the city, so now the value of this move is only saving this monastery as opposed to saving the city. But, like, how important a meeple is? Is a meeple really worth more than 9 points? I mean, of course it's 8 points, but it doesn't. But you're gonna need to place a tile here anyway to connect. Now, also, if you don't place a tile here, you're threatening your opponent to block this connection and, like, lose the field entirely. And also, like, you finish this such a high proportion of the time, and sometimes you even get a crossroads and you get 3 more points and then 4 more points. So we had this before, like. It's like, what's the point of going for a coin flip, then winning the coin flip, and then just, like, not taking the advantage of winning the coin flip? So I have issues with this. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we go for a 3-point monastery as opposed to a 8/9-point monastery. And you see, now they're going to start blocking the connection. At least now they would have only been blocking the monastery. You get the fantastic tile over here. I mean, you still had the 88% chance, but it's fortunate that we got this soon. Already. So now they finally get to block this. Should they meeple this? I don't know. It's on them. It's their decision. Yeah, so they, I guess, don't want to... for you to win the coin flip and win this rune. Now, of course, you get your monastery meeples back, which works out nice for you. But again, this was better. Like, also, I think sometimes people are very keen on saving their meeples, but still, sometimes, like, you should only save your meeples because this is typically the best move. Sometimes there are moves that are worth so many points that they're worth more than a meeple. And this was absolutely the case here. They block, they don't have much to do. That's a good question. Maybe now we don't care about this field that much, because we are ahead by a chunk of points. By 19, then 6, so that's like 25-ish. Your opponent will get 9 points here eventually. 6, well, you should assume that. 6 for the city, 9 for here. And then they're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 point fields. Yeah, this is not ideal. Also, the problem is, the really big problem, that actually now you've made their fields more valuable. Because their fields are not connected, they have 9 points more. Well, 6 points more than they otherwise would have. Because now they're scoring twice for this city over here. To be honest, I don't have, like, a really good advice for what to do in this situation. I'm just gonna go ahead and simply wait for you to make a move. Maybe the thing that I can see, again, with trying to extract some value, is to go here. Wait, I can just show it like normally. And then you pre-build the road next to your monastery in the event if you get the case road end tile. Well done. Great find, great find. That was, again, very not obvious. And of course, on top of that, we do get the tile. Oh, but we need it in 2 places, right? But do we need to connect to the field? We probably do, or maybe we don't anymore. Yeah, we do. Oh yeah, obviously, because, like, we're sharing the 9 points. Yeah. So I didn't think about this, but I mean, still, it's fine. It's still good to have to control this road in your with your monastery, because later on your last move you can simply take a regular straight line, add 1 point to your monastery, and take 5 points for the road, making it a 6-point move. So it's all good. What do? I have no idea. They probably need to build up their city and close off this connection at the top. Well done for blue. What do we do? There aren't too many city caps, but moves that I would consider is like starting a new city over here, I guess. Hoping to connect to the fields. Yeah, I guess that wouldn't hurt, but let's see. Oh yeah, that's actually really good as well. Because they're sort of fretting another field connection. They can either lock it or they can build up their own stuff. They choose to build up their own stuff. I guess you're going to take points. Oh, so you start a new city instead with 2 city caps. I don't know about that. So, I probably prefer cleaning up the city cap that's already there. Or not waste a meeple. Like, if you're going to start a new city, then there's no need to invest a meeple. What you can do is you can place this tile next to your monastery and simply wait. Because it's okay to leave an empty city cap. If your opponent gets a city cap, they will be using it over here anyway in their own field. And if you get a city cap, then you can just simply get to score over here. So you can do the same thing without having to invest a meeple, really. They continue, you get yet another triangle. And then you go here. Yeah, sure. That's actually is all right in this case, because you sort of want to keep your city safer. But again, you didn't have to, risk it in the first place. Then we go here. Oh, and now I think this was a bit unnecessary, because you were winning anyway. But I like your idea here, is because you saw that there were so many monasteries remaining that your opponent maybe was not going to be able to block the connection. But then the thing is, you don't need the field to win, and your opponent can take a straight line and make this meeple worth 0 points, and maybe they get a city back, and then maybe they still win by a couple of points, because they have a field but you have a 0-point meeple investment. So I'm not sure. It does feel like maybe with a move like this, you're giving up a few percentage points in the game. It's fine if you were short in time, if you were not sure if you needed the field to win, so you're going to try this. Yeah, but it's all right. Also, the positive side of your move is now it actually leaves you with 5 high impact tiles, because you have 3 tiles that give you the connection, and you have 2 tiles that give you a meeple back, which is good. Blue is not able to block, and you're not able to defend. And I think, yeah, this was really the main thing in this game, like when it comes to luck, is just drawing all 5 tiles that blue needed over here. Happens 3% of the time. So it happens like once every 30... Actually, more specific, it happens like once every 32, 33 games. So yeah, that was the case for sure. And maybe the timing of some tiles were good. And then winning the monastery coin flip that you ended up not using. But I don't think, just because of that, like you could have won this game even if your opponent did get the triangle. So it's fine. And then you connect here, which is just fantastic. So you get to even share the field. What blue is doing here is not entirely clear to me. Maybe they're already given up. But I think what they're doing is they're trying to create a field connection. They're trying to, actually I like that, to take a straight line and connect through a curve. And it's better than take the 4 points. But the field is still just not going to be enough for them. You get the curve, so the field connection is no longer live. You can probably connect your roads. And now there isn't anything that they can do. They can only take... Well, yeah, they're sort of hoping for a tile that doesn't exist. You take 5 points over here, and they take a city cap. Yes, they take the city cap that you needed, but you're absolutely happy with this trade-off for these triangles. And they're going to place it somewhere, and the points are going to start counting. So actually, I think overall, I think you played this really well. Yeah, you got probably exceptionally lucky with the triangles, or your opponent got exceptionally lucky with the triangles and the timing in a couple of places. But like, you didn't really make any moves that were counterproductive, and every move that you made had accomplished some important goal. Possibly there are some situations where you could have been a bit more precise with the percentages. So for example, building up this rhombus city. Whoops. So building up this rhombus city, not from the north but from the south, to eliminate your opponent's blocking chances, to decrease your opponent's blocking chances, that kind of precision. There was also this pattern, with the CRRR tile, with this one where you could have like made it a bit more lucrative by not finishing the city first but scoring 2 points first. But then again, like at a 500 level, these were all still good moves. Sort of going for this extra greedy pattern that I demonstrated earlier is like more of a 700 plus thing. What else? Yeah, so like other than these small things, I think actually did play very well. Yeah, you did get like exceptionally lucky with this, but you know, okay, you would have won the game not with like plus 30 but plus 5. And as we noticed, blue also had some imprecisions. But yeah, but I think overall you played really well. Elias is saying, yeah, I don't think that farmer is that bad, referring to this farmer over here, because it kind of saves the other farmer. Otherwise, blue can join the farmer and gain 9 points. That's actually a great point. So you can drop farmers defensively simply to occupy a connection spot to make sure that your opponent does not connect. It does not like fully save that farmer, because let's say if blue gets desperate, if blue gets... Wait, what are you talking about? This farmer. How does blue get more points? I don't think I get what you mean. Because this farm was already blue's. Are you talking about this farm somehow? But how exactly is blue going to attack this farm from the north? I think you're going to explain this to me. Yeah, but like the concept of the defensive farmer makes sense, that you drop a farmer somewhere where your opponent would have dropped a farmer, and even if it gains 0 points, you just make sure that they don't win the farm. Also, one of the reasons why I sort of like to say that actually this move I think was pretty decent is because it increased the number of tiles that are suitable for you. You had 2 city caps and you had 3 monasteries. So in that sense, it's a good investment for sure, but you're gonna need to explain that for me. Oh, that's where you went to. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, that's probably where it didn't make sense. Yeah, so these fields were not connected. Oh, that's what you mean. Oh, yeah. Oh, then that's actually, it's a very good move. Yeah, I completely overlooked the situation. So I totally forgot that this farmer was not yet connected with these 2 farmers. And so what you're doing here, you're just dropping a farmer here and saying, okay, if you block here, I get to preserve my 6 points. And then if you don't block here, I get to equalize the entire thing. Oh yeah, now it makes sense for sure. Yeah, actually that's a great point. Which also makes me critique Blue's field play even further. So like Blue invested a lot of tiles on like connecting here and here and here, when actually Blue need not have done this when, you know, Red still had not connected to the farm yet. Alrighty. We should move on to the last game. It has been 1.5 hours. Well, so far we're on schedule. I typically notice that also either on these streams or in our team training, I try to be efficient and I try to like not to talk too much in detail about every single move, but on average it takes 40 minutes to analyze an interesting Carcassonne game. Alrighty. Wait, no. So here, this game is sent to us by Glovier, and we're playing against, play with a screen named G Rappa, who's also a subscriber to this channel and who's also the current world champion. So, like, technically, we're probably playing like the strongest opponent possible. And how are we going to deal with that? Our protagonist is Glovier of Portugal. And I'm going to take the last sip of water that I have available. And we're going to go. Great start. So far, your moves are excellent. And we have an advantage. Oh. And now, you're gonna, on your second move, you're going to make a move that I disagree with. So here, at like a 700 plus level, the move you play is either here or actually much better here. Because if you continue, like, you want to have the principle of two cities. And then here you're like threatening to build a rhombus shaped city, and up top you're building a city cap shaped city. By the way, let me just turn on the tile counter. Not that we're going to need the tile counter that much for this game. Actually, many decisions there will just be simple Carcassonne stuff. So I'm only turning on the tile counter to make, you know, following the stream a bit easier for you guys. But I'm not claiming that in order to make good decisions, especially in the opening, you have to be aware of every single tile. Wait. Yeah, but you go here. Oh, okay. So, okay, this is an actual mistake. Like, I was thinking that you were going to turn the triangle the other way. In which way, yes, you have your eggs in one basket, but it's all sort of in one city. But at least, like, it's relatively secure, because your opponent has only 3 tiles that they can have to try to connect to this. But doing this, making your city more vulnerable, no, it's not what we should be doing at a 500 plus level, or at like a 600 plus level. So yeah, they do this. I don't like their road meeple at all. It's not gonna be that valuable. You're just gonna finish their city. They're gonna be left with a little piece. So I think they should just wait for a better tile and, you know, start building a road. Yeah, we have a city cap. So by the way, we could have already finished that city, but you know, we did not finish it. And then you see they now have to build around, and then they have to block themselves, which of course they want to do. Yeah, you have the only legal move, which helps them a little bit. Okay, they go into losing mini battle, but you know, there's only so much you can do. Yeah, here it's a good spot to finish your city, actually. Believe it or not. Now they get to block. They should meeple this road. They don't. Then you meeple this road, which I like. This is a problem that you're sort of leaving a juicy tile. But, I mean, what can you do? It's It's a 4-point move, so you do what you have to do. They, very wisely, they do not finish the city as they should. They greedily try to pick up the triangle, and also they place it in such a way. So actually another pattern that you can learn, let's learn from the world champion here a little bit. Is having a city that's about a city cap away to be completed and 2 roads over here is actually a very safe pattern, because there are many more tiles that you need to prolong or complete your city than the tiles that your opponent needs to attack or connect. Well, I mean, to attack, to block or connect. Because, for example, if your opponent has a city cap, then, you know, they can only do their stuff. They cannot connect. So taking the city like this is in fact the best move for red. Great move for you, +1 point, plus attacking, and now red's gonna make another strong move. Oh, they just finished the city, which I think is fine. Probably maybe I prefer slightly pre-completing this city, kind of placing this tile like this. But their move is also completely fine, because if this gets blocked, they still have 3 tiles left that fit into this square. Great tile for us. We're starting a new city in the only place possible. They're taking 2 points, also in the best place possible, because it also harasses your your city a little bit. Now, of course, you could finish, or you could go here, but I think a wiser move is what you actually do. You could also start a new city here, but I like what you did here. And this is the case where blocking is better than connecting, and only because you're blocking your opponent with the same tile that your opponent needs. So now there are only 2 tiles that fit here, because you already drew one of them. So that's good. They're starting another city. You're probably going to finish your city. I like it. You're threatening to block them, and they of course are going to trying to prevent that. Now we don't really have a good move. I think, yeah, I think we can consider starting a farm, and that's what you're gonna do, right? Oh no, you just start a city. That's fine, completely fine. Actually, there's a small issue here. So you see, you're doing a good thing, that you're leaving the city cap in a restricted position, so that your opponent has a harder time of winning the coin flip and being the first to take these 4 points. However, the tile that goes here, you also happen to need over here. And in fact, if you draw it, then you're going to place it here. So this means that your opponent is much more likely to eventually draw the tile that fits here. So I prefer, instead of going here, so that the restricted tile from this place can benefit you rather than your opponent. If you get like a simple city cap, then you can like take 4 points from this city. Moreover, if your opponent gets a straight line and starts blocking you, as they should now this very move, you will have now 2 meeples restricted from the same side. Do you see that, right? Now we're going to need the same type of curve in both situations. Whereas, had you had your meeple over here, and your opponent goes here, then at least you can benefit from this tile here, and from the other type of curve here. So one of the criteria which you should base your city building decision on is you should anticipate your opponent's blocking moves and try to start building cities where they're safer if your opponent starts blocking you. But then again, like, so this type of thinking is definitely important at like a 700 plus level. They greedily go here. which I think is okay. I mean, I'm not going to criticize a point scoring move, but here actually for red, I prefer blocking simply because they're committing. By the way, you heard me correctly. Me, like one of the greediest Carcassonne players alive, I prefer blocking in this situation rather than point scoring because it commits two meeples to the same type of tile. And also because it restricts red meeple. So, I mean, if you are going to score a road, maybe you can just build it from here. I mean, I understand this move too as well. So now you get a fantastic tile. You're probably very happy that your opponent did not block you. You know, they finished their roads as they should. And now I think this is the time to meeple a field. You can go either here to make it slightly harder for your opponent to block your bottom city, or you can go here to connect these fields quicker. Either of them are fine, but it's time to farm. You choose the latter option. What do? I say they start a city. Good for them. And I say you try connect that city. And you do, good for you. Not only are you connecting to their city with one of the least valuable tile possible, a shieldless triangle, it's only worth less than this type of tile, of which there are only two remaining. Two without a shield. But also, you're putting pressure on this meeple. And by putting a pressure on this meeple, you're indirectly protecting this meeple. Because if this square gets blocked or restricted, this means that it will take red longer to finish the city, and finishing the city would create a blocking platform for this square, and you really want to preserve this square, so good for you. They get the thing, and now you get the thing. Will you find the strongest move here? And you do, yes. No need to connect. We can create another threat for this place, and also we create some blocking threats here, like we block this square and we build around, and we have a larger ruin because it has more space to expand. There is a risk though. I think an acceptable risk. That your opponent connects here, and eats up this ruin. However, I think that is an acceptable risk because you still have two places where you can block. If your opponents can get city tiles, you're still gonna have compensation. You can you're probably gonna build tiles, get tiles to, save this meeple, to continue this road, to build up this field, to do something else. No, maybe get some monasteries. And also, because two extenders are out, which would give your opponent only one perfect tile that goes here. And 2 or 3 okay tiles, the triple cities. The reason why the triple cities are not perfect for your opponent is because your opponent will be inclined to use the triple cities here first. Because this square is quite vulnerable to triangle, block committed to a quadruple city. Let's keep going. They do not get a tile that they want. They should start a new city, probably up top. Oh yeah, they just take 4 points, obviously. This one I missed. And we don't have a room for a second farmer. Yeah, that's great. You're restricting them. What do? Maybe they connect, maybe they take a move that I think is not bad for them. Is actually helping you out a little bit, taking 3 points over here, making sure that you don't finish your city too soon, and also protecting this square a little bit because you're going to use this square to block this. So let's see if they actually do that. And they do, which I rather like. Now I have a dilemma going here or here. I probably prefer having my meeples back a little bit sooner. because I'm gonna need to defend this farm. On the other hand, there are still 5 tiles that give me this meeple back. So maybe it's okay to put the city cap over here and a bit overcommit to city tiles. There's a bit of a problem that we're missing out on monastery tiles. Like, everything that goes over here is fantastic. But I won't criticize either of the decisions. So you go here, which I think is a good move. But probably if you're going to go here, you're going to have to meeple the city cap. As painful as it may be, no, I'm not going to disagree with the move without meepling the city cap too. The idea being is just, it's a bit vulnerable. Your opponent can have something like this, let's say, where they get 4 points and attack your city. Like, you don't want to give your opponent easy moves like these. Easy points with a block. I think that's a bit too much. Yeah, so what you said, when I try to connect, I'm more interested in preventing them to close the city and making a bigger rune. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, good point, actually. Over here in this early situation, parallel caps, like those would be scarier than extenders, but they're all out. All right, we're going to carry on. They save their city. Here, several options. We could either go here, kind of indirectly saving our bacon over here. By bacon, I mean city meeple. Probably what you end up doing is the better move of expanding your field. Yeah, this is much better because it makes it much harder for them to connect to the field. Still 1 square here. We can take care of that later. They block here. Actually, they can already drop a farmer. They should. Because, like, either you or them, somebody's gonna put a monastery here eventually. Why don't just save the time? 12-point field. Interesting. Like, they need to attack this eventually. It's worth a lot of points. And in an extremely unlikely scenario, when you don't connect over here as red, you probably get like a 9-point field over here when these cities are completed. Now you get nice 4-point road. Very nice and greedy. Not only is it a 4-point road, it helps them. It prevents them from connecting through this square. So sometimes, like, if you can manage to build a 12-point field with just 1 meeple, that's an amazing investment. And if you can find this, sometimes there's like, in a matter of 2-3 moves, you can secure a space. You can secure the space for a field, you can enclose it, and then you can build it in such a way that prevents your opponent from connection. You should always go for it. And now, just before you got the Jin card, your opponent's going to get the Jin card. They are meepling the monastery in a way that I quite like. They're also preparing a field connection, but you see the problem? Now, red could have had the same, but with an extra field meeple. So, you know, I think I'm right here. And yeah, they do take up an important move from you. What could you do here? I think what you did is a good move, but I think I see something really, really devious. How about we go here and we meeple the road? I mean, probably not the best move necessarily, but the idea here is that you spend your last meeple, but still you're quite likely to get a meeple back soon. You sort of take away a road that they can pre-build later, and you kill a field connection. So as it stands, now your field is completely enclosed. But let's go on. You finish, you finish this, which is completely fine. And now they do the thing. So this is, I think, an amazing move by red. Not just taking 2 points somewhere, but creating a super high impact move. So you pre-build a road for yourself and drop a farmer. And now the worst case scenario for red is that you, yellow, get the road tile first, you get 5 points, but they get 1 point in compensation and a meeple back and a field connection, so it's absolutely worth it. The best case scenario for them is that they win the coin flip, and then they get 5 points for the 5 points for the road, 1 point for the monastery, a meeple back, and a field connection. Like, is that a great move or what? So yeah, so we should learn a bit from our opponent here as well. You start a monastery, which I fully empathize with, because even though the field will be important, you are preparing dropping a farmer once you complete the city, which is why as red I might even consider giving you a point away, like doing something like this, just to sort of mess with the structure over here. So if as red I had 2 meeples, I would always go here and meeple the city. With 1 meeple, it's not so easy. Let's see what they do. They choose to block, which it's a good move. I definitely can't blame them for that. It's a good move, yeah. Then you go here. I would not drop a farmer here. I would wait until the city cap and drop after the city cap. I think it's too impatient. I mean, yeah, I think it's a bit impatient because you're missing out on a bit of value here and there. You're definitely missing out on straight roads. Although it's not like you're super keen to complete this anyway. You know, 12% of the time you just get the roads, build them up here, and your opponent is stranded with this. So you may want to go for there. But also the problem is, like, there's still a couple of big city tiles, and your opponent can go here, and you can end up without the meeple for a very long time. But it's okay. You can play like this. Like, it's an important field. They get a meeple back. You are probably going to continue your city, which is good for you. They drop a farmer, which I rather like. You, of course, are going to connect. And they are going to connect their first farmer. With these lots of points. Of course, you're going to continue your city, trying to complete it. Now they are re-attacking it. Not even bothering with 2 points, because now they're quite ahead in this game. And it's now very difficult for yellow to get meeples back, because basically you have just the divider here. You have just this one tile over here. Which is actually quite good for you, because you're flipping for this tile anyway, and you're behind, so your coin flips favor you. And maybe back-to-back roads over here. And you get the dream tile. You get one of your back-to-back roads. And you decide to put it. And you decide to put it over here for some inexplicable reason. Saving your opponent's field connection. And attacking your own monastery when you have no meeples. This is your biggest mistake of the game so far. Like, by far, actually. So, yeah, just don't make moves like this. So, like, you have meeples. This is the utmost priority, and I see, like, you're probably trying to restrict it a little bit. There are 3 tiles left. It's an 88% chance, and there's just no way how you're going to build around here and here and then somehow block it, because there's also another problem. All the 3 tiles that are remaining are different, which means that you cannot block it with a 100% chance. The best case scenario is, I don't know, you get a divider over here, and then you get like a straight line and put it over here, and they still have a 50% chance to connect. Whereas you've started messing up your monastery, because as soon as you put something over here, this square it becomes vulnerable. So that was like, this straight line, given how few of them were remaining, was the absolute dream tile to place over here. So again, if you get a tile that looks like it fits for a certain purpose, just use it for that purpose. Like, play Carcassonne simpler. You're saying, oh my, I did that. I know, sometimes this happens, but like, I don't want to be like overly critical and stuff, and I've said you already made strong moves. The reason why the reason why I emphasize this a lot is that I hope that like it will make it, you know, much more less likely that you make a blunder like this again. But okay, so now if I'm G-Rappa, I go here and I ruin your game completely. Yeah. Wait, do I? Yes, exactly, because if as red I block your monastery, now this guy's blocked and these need the same tile. Fortunately for you, red just does not see this move. Yeah, as red, I would block and probably keep you without meeples for the rest of the game or most of the game. So like, red could have won the game right there, right now. But okay. Now you are in a bit of predicament because you sort of want to clean off this thing, but you can't because you'd be attacking your own thing. So now you have to build your monastery, I guess? Oh no, you did that, which actually I quite like, sort of even sacrificing your meeple a little bit. Then a red connects to the field, and now you can save your monastery. Oh, you're not even gonna bother saving this, which I also understand. Like, you really, beggars can't be choosing. You're like, have a very, very difficult situation here. They go here, so they prevent you from getting a divider, which is nice. You get the dream tile. You get the absolute dream tile that puts you back into the game. So red spares you. And what do you do here as red? That's a good question. I think as red, maybe you block here, or maybe it's time. Yeah, maybe actually it's time as red to drop your last meeple on a 9-point field, try to win this field and close it. That's what I like doing. Do they do that? Yes, they do. I talk about like what are some situations where you can use your last meeple, and now red is never getting his meeples back, but he's getting a 9-point field. He's preventing you from getting a 9-point field, as he's threatening to snatch a huge field in response. Now we need to think, what can we do very carefully? A lot of that depends on the game situation. So, can we win the game by simply equalizing the field? If the answer is yes, we just don't care about this monastery meeple, and we just simply take this tile, go here, and drop a farmer, and hope for one of the 4 remaining roads. If we equalize, then we win. But is that the case or not? So we're down 9 points. We're down 1 point only because of this monastery. Supposedly we're going to equalize this field, so we're not counting that. We're down 5, 3, 5. So we're up 5 points in this mini battle. We're up, well, 0 points in this mini battle when we equalize. And then we're down 1 point here. So it's just like very, very close. We're up +3 or something. So probably a move that I would really consider here is to go here and drop a farmer. And yes, red could build up some cities over here. You could build up some cities over here. But if there, you still have some chances of getting your meeple back, because there are these tiles. And once you connect, I think you have your game in the bag for the most part. So that's an option. I think you opt for the other reasonable move, is just getting the meeple back. Wait, what was that? So you did neither. Okay, that's another mistake. So you are, at the moment, preventing your opponent from connecting only with a 50% chance. Given that you're probably in a better position to win, 50% chance is not good enough because your meeple advantage should be convertible. But here's another thing. Strategically, this connection does not matter. You are going to need to equalize this 9-point field in order to win. Because like, where else are you going to get these points? Okay, maybe somehow like you can win small points over here. Maybe like if you meeple this 5-point road, but there's only a 75% chance of doing that, and like even 75% chance is not good. It's not good enough. You probably should be looking to really convert here. So yeah, like not a fan of 50% block in a situation like this. So either get a meeple back and fight, and also the chance of like getting the good news of getting meeple back is like it creates another field connection opportunity. So that's good for you. Or drop a last meeple to equalize the farm. So, I don't know about that one. But okay, we get a fantastic tile. We get here. And we're about to block that. But your opponent gets what they absolutely deserve in this situation. The tile that they need. And now we're in a predicament. Because now, sort of, we're... Well, actually, no, we can still do the thing, right? Now there are only going to be 3 tiles remaining, but it's okay. Just go here, drop a farmer. Well, is that even going to be enough? Let's again, we're at -5 and +8, so that's +3. Then let's say if we win this mini battle, if we lose this mini battle, if our opponent equalizes, that's fine. Our opponent equalizes here. Here at -1. So we will be at +2. Which means that I think here we can just safely drop a farmer. And that's it. And try to claim one of the 3 tiles to connect to this field. Is that what you want to do? No, but I still don't get exactly what this move is trying to achieve. So actually, in a sense, I like this move, what it does spatially. It is trying to create another field connection, but why create another field connection when you already have one right here? And then you're going to need the same tiles to connect through here. So again, some questions. So again, as red could either connect here, sort of equalizing. Actually, yeah, maybe that's the way. Because red can equalize and then sort of hope to hold on. Or maybe probably better is for red to hold on to the field. So the red, I think, what red should do, they should kill this field connection. And then when you get yours field connection here, they should try and block it. I think that's the best way for red to win. Is not to try equalize you on the small features, but to simply try to hold on to that huge field. And they do exactly that in the best manner possible. What a spectacular move from red, because they know that there are no city caps that you can use to attack from here. Oh, this is lovely. That's a really good move. And at the same time, they're also adding 1 point to themselves. So it's like, oh, that's beautiful. So they're playing now really well. Oh, okay. So, yeah, Glovier, you're saying in the chat that this, you saw the better connection. So this is just a blunder, basically, a spatial blunder. Yeah, so that happens. Okay. You place here, which is fine, but I think a better move was placing over here. And the purpose of that is to That's also another tactic. Like now, once your opponent has blocked here, this is your only field connection. This is your only hope to hold on for dear life. And killing the blocking square for the potential blocking square is an important tactic in the field. You're going to see this in action in a puzzle video that I have scheduled for mid-March, because it has so much editing, but we'll get there at some point. It has so much editing that needs to be done. The concept of a pre-defense, of a defense of a field connection that you're going to use in the future. So if you place this monastery over here, you block the square for the blocking square for the square that you're going to need to connect. And this actually works really well, because check this out. You're going to put over here, and you're going to get another monastery to connect. And then this curve that you're going to need is going to become completely unblockable. Because if your opponent gets a curve, he will not be able to turn it that way, leaving zero room for this, because there's 0 straight lines remaining. He will only be able to turn it that way, which only reinforces the curve that you need. So now what can red do here? I think red should probably place this monastery like this, trying to maybe somehow restrict possible connection options. But it's very, very difficult to... Oh, I know. There's an absolute obvious move. They should place it over here to take away the outside curve field connection from you, because you're threatening to grab a crossroads, place a farmer like this, and have an unblockable 75% connection through one of the two curves, through the outside. And red does that, man. They are playing really well here. You gotta give it to them. You know, maybe they won that title for the reason. Here, it was time. I think it was time. It was time. Well, actually, was it time, though? No. Yeah, if anything, I probably agree with your move. Because if you try to connect over here, your opponent has 3 blocking tiles. So it's only a 25% chance. But what do you do instead? I think, again, you do the same thing. You sort of try to... I know. So one option is to try and block this, but then again, like, it sort of draws attention to that square. At this point, you kind of hope that your opponent doesn't see it. But another move that you should have noticed, I think, is trying to create a second field connection. Place this triangle over here at the bottom. And then, if you're not lucky enough to get something like this, then you can get a triple city tile to go here, drop a farmer like this, hope that your opponent gets a crossroads, which means that they cannot block the square, and then on your last turn, connect with a curve and enjoy your couple points win. Yes. So, like, again, when you can't make a move that gives point, always look a way to create field connections, to create certain threats, to do something with the tile, because also here, at least you're giving yourself some genuine chances in the game, because your opponent cannot block both tiles, both field connections. So let's say your opponent gets a curve, they go here as they should, and then instead of this tile, it turns out that you get, I don't know, a curve, and then you connect through crossroads, and your opponent gets a city, which makes the connection unblockable. But okay. So again, like, here's how you could have given yourself a couple more percentage points. And this is where our opponent loses the game. What, do they? Yeah, there's a bit of a problem, actually. There's still 2 field connections. Yeah, there's, no. There's a field connection through the outside curve that I didn't see. So what they should do, at least as red, they should either like go here and defend this, like that, or they should go here and defend this field connection, but they should be defending one of the two field connections. But let's figure out the best move for red. It's all about calculating probability. So as red, what is the chance of losing the game because yellow connects through this? Well, for yellow to connect through this square, yellow has to get a crossroads and crossroads exactly on their next move, which is... oh, wait, so this is... Okay, so let me just be clear. The tile counter, the way this app works, is that these two curves include the curve that we just drew. So this means that there are 3 tiles remaining, and then like... So the chances of our opponent, if we're red, our opponent is yellow, getting a crossroads is 1 in 3, and then getting a curve is 1 in 2. So that would be a 1 in 6 or 16% chance to connect. So let's say if we place a curve like this as red, we're denying our opponent 16% of equity. Sounds fair. There's also this connection with a farmer like this through a crossroads, but as red, we do not need to worry about that because no matter what, we're going to have a blocking tile through there. What's the other threat? The other threat is that red is going to grab a curve specifically is going to grab a curve and connect through a crossroads. And this connection will be unblockable because if that happens, red is going to have this, so then red will not be able to block. So both the probabilities of connection from red's point of view are 16%. But what red should do is eliminate at least one of these options because they require different sequences of tiles. So this option is crossroads plus curve, and this option is curve plus crossroads. So this means that if red does nothing, then you win with either of these field connections. So you actually win with a 33% chance. Basically, you win if you don't draw this thing. If red draws this thing, then you win with these two tiles with any sequence. So the correct move from red is to eliminate either of these field connections to make sure that you have not 16%, not 33%, but only 16% of winning. Concord is making an excellent point, chat. Yeah, so it shows what a complicated mess it becomes once you miss the earlier, much easier field connection. But where do they place? They place here. They make a mistake. They give you 33% instead of 16%. They should have blocked one of the two connections. And also, like, let's say, okay, if you're low on time, if you're not counting tiles, but they are counting tiles, they're the world champion, then you should, even if you're not counting tiles, you're know that some tiles exist in principle that give you a field connection. You know, they know that you can connect in theory with some sort of curves through the outside. So they should be making a move that gives you, that like takes away, but that does something as opposed to a move that does nothing. And because they gave you a 33% chance versus a 16% chance, they get punished for that. You place over here, as you should. You go, so you're actually quite lucky to get the curve because the curve is the only tile that gets you a shot at winning. You go there for the unblockable 50-50 and you get the coin flip and you win the game for a couple of points, because as we calculated, this monastery over here, this monastery for the win, despite your opponent managing to equalize these two ruins, this monastery puts you at +3, and then in these mini battles you had a +1, so eventually you win the game by +2 points. What a game. So we saw the tile counter here, and yeah, Elias is saying that these are the kind of things that you see without a tile, that you see with a tile counter, but these are not things that you see in real games. Well, first of all, this shows you the importance of endgame tile counting, or at least tile tracking, and yeah, that's the why it's important to win games at this level. But also it shows you the importance of analyzing these games with a tile counter afterwards, because then you can start seeing these patterns in your future games, and sometimes you can see them with, like, if you don't have times to tile count fully, at least you can do semi-tile count, like have intuitive understanding of stuff like this. But ideally in a live tournament, yeah, you should be sort of seeing these things and knowing these probabilities, and like saying in your mind, oh, you know, it's a 16% chance, it's a 33% chance, I'm denying my opponent this much equity. I've tried this actually. It's like, it's not that hard to know the remaining tiles in a live tournament, and to sometimes even know the tiles and points. Well, yeah, you know, a chip in the brain is also another option. Well, anyway, so like I thought you kind of got lucky at the end there, but your opponent could have denied you half of your probabilities, making it, come on, like 16 or 33. It's a huge difference at that level. Just imagine how this translates to your win rate. Again, if only red makes this move or this move, they double their win rate in that position against an opponent who is playing perfectly. They double their win rate. I just really want that to sink in. That said, I think red played incredibly well, and they did close up. They did close up like a lot of field connections, and very often they played exactly the recommended moves that sort of we anticipated over here. It's just one mistake sort of cost them these percentages, and you know, they ended up losing the game because of that. Well, for you, I think, like, obviously blundering this was not ideal. But like, supposedly that we blundered this, and supposedly that this connection does not exist, then that makes your city cap move an excellent move, because then you're sort of actually trying to create field connections in a position where you really need field connections. So stuff like this. So this 50% block, not ideal. What else? Something to learn from, but still, it's a move I can understand. And probably your biggest blunder was this straight line, helping your opponent and blocking your own and restricting your own monastery. But I appreciate, like, some oversights can happen, and also, like, it's an arena game. It's not like a super high stakes game, rather than, you know, the satisfaction of defeating a world champion and getting a few arena points. But yeah, very well played with placing a farmer first over here. It made red's life quite difficult trying to connect. What else? Yeah, some nice blocking ideas, nice restricting ideas over here. And eventually you manage to find this connection and win. Oh, what a game. Okay, let's see what you guys are writing in the chat. Oh, this is a great question from Concord. How do you choose which of your own games to analyze? So first of all, I choose the ones where I feel that I don't understand what happened. Because, like, if I got the tile, if my opponent got the tile, if I understood the win conditions, I understood what the probabilities are, and one of the scenarios happened, then I don't necessarily analyze it, because it just sort of, that's your Tuesday, that's your regular day. I analyze when my opponent makes a move that's sort of new. I analyze when I end up losing, or, when I wasn't sure if I chose the right win condition. Because, sometimes you go for the field, sometimes you go for making quick points and trying to do a fieldless win condition. I do analyze my wins as well. I typically analyze my games against stronger opponents. Yeah, so these are kind of the things. So stronger opponents, unfamiliar or unclear situations, and then uncertainty about whether your decisions were correct or not. And I think the worst thing that you can do is judge on the correctness on your decision based on the outcome. Like, oh, well, it ended up well, so it's okay. Or if you end up like drawing one of the rare tiles and winning it anyway, you should probably like look at what was actually the optimal move. So which is why I don't only analyze losses, I analyze wins as well. And if anything, like analyzing losses requires surmounting some psychological difficulties, because it requires reliving something mildly unpleasant, even though it's just a game, as we should remember. And anything like chess at the most competitive level, poker at the most competitive level, like football at the most competitive level, and if the end of the day is still just a game, doesn't matter. Losing is still a bit mildly unpleasant, and part of you wants to hide that memory. We lose the game, and then we just brush it under the rug, like it never happened. We could just start a new one. No. If especially you lost a game because your own mistake, you gotta address your own insufficiencies right here and right now to make sure it doesn't happen again. This is why I like the mindset of Ever, the recent Mind Sports Olympia champion, who never concedes games, by the way. And part of his mindset is that he actually wants to put himself through the misery of playing, the last few tiles in this inevitable -20, -30, -40 positions, to give himself motivation not to put himself in that position again and not to have that unpleasant experience. So that's like more of an extreme version. I don't do that. I don't concede my games for another reason. Well, one is I want to practice finding the best moves, and one is I don't want to accidentally miscount the points and misjudge the situation and simply miss a possible win. Recently, I was playing a game with a 750 plus rated player, and he conceded the game in a position with 100% win probability for him because he miscounted the points and he forgot that he had an extra monastery. Most satisfying win ever, like when your opponent does something like this, basically giving you away so much equity. This is about conceding, but psychologically analyzing your games and conceding your games is something similar, because not analyzing your losses, you can really make yourself feel better in the short term. And also by conceding a game, you can make yourself feel better in the short term. That's why I've also noticed players who concede too often are actually not that good. And if anything, especially players who, because I know, for example, there's Pinditron, for example, who is probably I think the best endgame calculation on the planet. And he does concede the game, but as soon as you draw the tile that gives you the 100% win. So as soon as he doesn't the equity, but he does that because he already calculated that kind of stuff. I don't have that kind of confidence. I think, maybe I'm not seeing something, I better play the game until the end. But there are some players who just concede on a regular basis, 35 tiles remaining. and they typically play a lot of games, like thousands of games, and they don't improve. So yeah, same goes for analyzing. Also, like for analyzing losses, I think it's a great idea. That would be so again, priorities like against strong players, analyze losses and analyze unclear situations where something was new for you. Maybe there was a new opening that you weren't sure whether the move was right, or like an end game. Maybe you didn't see some sort of field connection. Like what else could you have done? So something like this. So, by the way, I'm also kind of looking for more losses. I mean, no, send like whichever games you prefer to have analyzed. But I want to look at some losses as well, because here, yeah, we also kind of discussed your mistakes, but like all three games ended in a victory, and I think it's not an accident. Like it's a bit more pleasant to review victories as well. But I mean, you can also learn from reviewing victories. Okay, you guys are saying a lot in the chat. They are Mikhail Rus and Viv who concede a lot. Yeah, both very strong players, especially Mikhail Rus. Well, actually, funny you should mention this, because the 750 plus rated player who conceded me the game in 100% winning position was in fact Mikhail Rus. So, so maybe I don't agree with that with their decision to do so. Interesting. I guess a lot of mistakes happen because we're more inclined and conditioned to close features and not see the other moves that don't complete features but achieve more value. This is true, but I'd say the opposite can also be true. Because like sometimes you can make the mistake by making the move which is sort of too obvious, too on the surface, but you can also make a mistake that's like you can overthink things. You can, I don't know, there's plenty of that happening. Well, actually, early over here, I think this sort of main blunder by yellow, yeah. The natural move is just to go here. Like, you give it to any 100 rated player, they just played here, because, like, what else do you do? But that's sort of, this is where you could have start trying to play three-dimensional chess, and that's how you can making mistakes as well. Making opening mistakes, sometimes it is not knowing stuff. Sometimes you can simply blunder because you don't see something. Sometimes you can make a mistake because you don't understand the win condition. There can be many reasons, and that's why we're doing these analysis streams, and we're looking at all of these possible things. But also, I think a better mindset, rather than not making mistakes, it's better to simply make good moves. To try to think, I want to make good moves, because there are different types of mistakes. Like the mistakes that I really want to talk about is some mistakes where you do something counterproductive, or like you don't seize an obvious opportunity. Those mistakes where, oh, you know, you made an okay move, but there was a like 5% better move. Yeah, they're like very important at the top level, but if you're at any level below, let's say 700, this is probably should not be your first concern. It's like, how can I make sure that I play a good move on every move? Then I think this is really the best mindset, and then you also stop caring about the outcomes of the game so much. You kind of just you start enjoying the game a little bit every more, because it becomes just much more enjoyable when you're playing good moves. So think of playing good moves instead of avoiding mistakes. Although sometimes we should think of avoiding mistakes, but not that much. Alrighty, I've been talking a lot, and it's been over 2.5 hours, but three all very interesting, different types of games, and we also get to learn from our opponents a little bit. We get to talk a bit about endgame calculation, about how to squeeze the maximum percentages, how to deny your opponent some percentages, about some psychological issues in Carcassonne, and about some opening patterns. So there's, if anything, I'm going to remind you of this. What's that? No. No. This one. City cap. Nope. yeah, like this. City cap with a crossroads plus. Well, how does it work? Oh yeah, plus another city cap with a crossroads, 3-point road over here. So this is sometimes a useful pattern. Those of you who viewed the previous games will understand. Now the final thing that's remaining is, first of all, do meeple the like button, do subscribe to this channel unless you have already, and also watch the previous stream of, the final of Belgian Championship. I think it actually came out quite well. It was probably better than usual even. And there's going to be a scheduled video next week. There's going to be a couple of scheduled videos. There's going to be a few weeks without a stream. There's games against viewers at the end of February, and at the beginning or second week of March, there's going to be another analysis stream. Already got a couple of submissions, but feel free to send me more. I will probably prioritize those of you who had not their game analyzed on this channel as a protagonist yet. But if a game is interesting enough, I'm happy to, review the same submission from a different submission from the same subscriber. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.